happy to see you, happy to be here. All kinds of interesting news, if you will, about my progress in the 90-day challenge. And as I promised in my first video, this is like total transparency, not gonna hide when I mess up, not gonna, stretch the truth one way or the other. This is totally down and dirty. And what you should know is, first of all, I'm still on the challenge and still feeling really good about it. And having said that, I have to tell you that I did not lose any weight last week. As a matter of fact, when I stepped on the scale, I was shocked to find that I'd actually gained some weight. Now, having said that, it would be really easy for me to totally blame this on ViSalus and say, oh yeah, no, this stuff doesn't work. I quit, I'm done. Well, I haven't quit. I'm not done. And I want you to know that I did figure out what the issue was and why I didn't lose any weight. Now, I should first tell you that I didn't, quote, cheat at all. I didn't go out and eat candy bars or, buy a package of cookies or any of the kinds of things that often happen when you get frustrated with your diet. But I did have a change that I didn't really actually realize at the time, and there were a couple of different things that happened that caused this issue, and so I'm going to share that with you. First of all, the ViSalus program is designed very specifically to give you certain amounts of nutrition, to give you certain things that you need in order to burn fat and all those kinds of wonderful things. And when you use it properly, it works very well. Unfortunately, last week we had a little glitch, a little miscommunication. Understand that the week before, I was basically home alone and making my own shakes. And following the directions pretty carefully and whatnot. And then my husband came home and kindly offered most of the week to make my shakes because I was, busy and doing and one thing and another. And the shakes were delicious, and I never made this connection until a few days ago when I actually watched him make a shake and realized that he was not putting the full amount of shake powder in there that was supposed to go. It's supposed to have 2 scoops. He was only putting 1, which meant I was getting half the fiber, half the nutrition, half of the fat-burning qualities of the ViSalus shakes. And in addition to that, because of that, I managed to get constipated, bloated, and had severe water weight that got put on. This is not fat weight. You don't put on, large amounts of fat in a week. Fat, unless you're really pigging out, which I wasn't. So, I knew that there was something not right, and as it turns out, it was human error, pilot error if we were flying a plane, okay? And so now we're very clear. George knows that when he makes my shakes, that we put in 2 scoops, just like Kellogg's Raisin Bran, right? 2 scoops of raisins, 2 scoops of powder in the shake, and we're back on 2 scoops, and I'm feeling better, and I'm feeling like the water weight is starting to dissipate, and the constipation and other issues that I was having as a result of having it not properly done are going away, and I'm feeling better, and I think my next report is going to be awesome. So keep up with me on this, and don't give up, because I'm not giving up, all right? So, okay, so part 2 is a tip. I promised you last time that I would give you a tip, and this is a great tip. And, as you remember in my story, that I used to weigh over 320 pounds, and I lost over 140 pounds. I gave you my first tip of how that happened last week, which is water, drinking plenty of water, in which, by the way, I also wasn't doing during that period of time. I wasn't drinking as much water as I was supposed to. So, but having said that, there is another great tip for those of you who feel like you're on a plateau, or you're just not losing like you ought to, or you just want to feel better, especially my diabetic friends out there, all of you people who are struggling with diabetes, you need to do this, okay? Told you started with a W. If any of you haven't guessed, it's walking. Walking is one of the simplest, least expensive ways to get aerobic exercise there is on the planet. For most people, it's very accessible. It's easy to do. You don't need any special equipment, just a good pair of shoes. And it doesn't need to be fancy, as long as they fit your feet and don't give you blisters. And you don't have intense feet pain or something after you walk. These are okay shoes to use, and you should just go for it. Don't wait until you can afford some fancy pair of walking shoes. I mean, I am sure if you eventually want to upgrade to that sort of thing, that would be just fine, but you don't need them. It's good when you walk to make sure that you're walking in a place that's safe. I highly recommend, most malls these days will open up early, before regular hours, to people who want to walk in the mall. I know that Capitol Mall, back where I'm from, did that, and I walked an hour every day except for Sundays. And it's not about how far you walk or how fast you walk. You do not have to do speed walking or anything like that. What you need to do is walk in such a way that you feel like you're pushing yourself just a little, but you should still be able to talk comfortably with another person. As a matter of fact, I really recommend going with a buddy. When you're walking, walk with a friend. It makes it a lot more fun. You have a tendency to be more accountable because your friend is going to meet you and all of that kind of stuff. And so walking inside a mall has a lot of advantages. Now, if you don't have a mall, that doesn't mean that you need to not walk. It just means that you don't have a mall. But walking in the mall has a lot of advantages. Number one, you have security there in the mall. There's people walking around there whose whole purpose is to keep the people in the mall safe. Secondly, you have a firm, smooth surface that's uninterrupted. Thirdly, you don't have people in cars trying to hit you. A lot of people do not live in areas where there are sidewalks. If there are sidewalks in your town, and if it is not suffocatingly hot, which right now, if you live in a place where the temperature is really high, either walk in the morning or in the evening are the best times to walk. But if you're not living in a place where it's just absolutely roasting during the day, just getting out in your neighborhood and walking in areas that are safe. I always walked in my neighborhood. We lived in a cul-de-sac. We used to go like around this big circle before I started walking in the mall. Walking in the mall is fun. Usually you see the same people every day on your walk, all out there walking, and they call to each other and say hi and encourage each other and all that kind of stuff. And there are even whole groups of seniors that used to walk in the mall that I walked in, that they would go and they would do their walk, and then at the end of everybody's walk, they would meet in the food court area and sit and talk and whatnot before they went home. So it was a very congenial atmosphere. Walking is good for you on many fronts. First of all, unlike running, it doesn't put very much stress on your joints. And quite frankly, if you're overweight, as I am, if you are more than 20 pounds overweight, you probably shouldn't run. You should walk and get as much exercise as you can and lose some of that weight before you start running, because when you're heavy, that puts all this extra strain on your joints your lungs, etc., in your heart. So for people for whom running is not an option, walking is a great option. And assuming that you can actually walk. I'm in a situation right now where I can't walk, which is one of the reasons why I have gained all the weight that I have. When I was walking every day and drinking lots of water, I wasn't on a specific diet. I just tried to make better food choices, and I lost a pound to 2 or 3 pounds a month. It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But over several years, what it meant was, first of all, I wasn't gaining any weight, which was a big deal for me. And secondly, I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to make any radical changes. And so as I drank more water and I was walking every day, weight very slowly but surely started to come off of me. Now I'm in a situation now where I can't wait another however many years to lose this weight. I need to lose it now. And Visalis, for me, is that answer. Now you may find a different answer, and if you do and it works for you, great, do it. As long as it's not something that is going to actually harm your health further, because you can diet in such a way, which I have in the past, where it can very seriously affect your weight in a negative way. And believe it or not, dieting, improper dieting, going on these crazy diets can actually cause things like diabetes, kidney failure, and many other things, because when you're not using a proper, fully nutritional program as you are losing weight, you can actually destroy muscle tissue. You can create a lot of bad situations in your body, and you don't want to do that. So you need to find something that is actually going to support your health, that's going to support your heart health, which the Visalis program is very good for helping to lower cholesterol and all the things that we are supposed to be paying attention to. It is diabetic safe. It is gluten free, and there are a lot of other things that are not in it. For instance, there's no aspartame in this, and I don't know about any of the rest of you, but I get serious headaches with the smallest little bit of aspartame can give me violent headaches for days after ingesting it. So not something that I personally recommend. We'll go into that another time. But anyway, the point is that there's all this really good stuff in it for you. So walking, that's the tip for the week. Next week I have another really great tip that actually is extremely yummy, and you'll find that it will really help you with your diet to prevent cheating. It's not really, it's not about cheating or not cheating, and we'll talk about that philosophy at another time, but it will keep you from eating things that are not so good for you. It will help to help you with your blood sugars. It will help you feel fuller and more satisfied, and actually is extremely good for you. So, and it's not something new. It's an old thing. Matter of fact, there's an old saying about it, which I'll not tell you at this time. But anyhow, so we'll see you next week. Next week, I expect to have much better news about my weigh-in. And because of kind of the situation and all the figuring out that I did and so forth and so on, I'm going to change my weigh-in date to Wednesdays, so that I have a full week between weigh-ins, but and all of that. So I will talk with you next week. I'm sure I'll have much better news. I'm still very excited about the Visalis program. I'm in it for the full 90 days. I'm going to go all the way, and I'm hoping that with whatever you're doing, you're going to go all the way too. So go out there, do something really good for yourself today and something wonderful for someone else, and have a good week. We'll see you. Take care. Bye.